Village, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you. Or something massive is happening in Mali. A Frenchman who was arrested some few months ago with the accusation that he was trying to destabilize Mali with the help of some military officers. Finally, the Malian authorities have decided to put this man where he belongs. When he was arrested, the French government came out claiming that Mali arrested their citizen unlawfully because the man was only there in Mali to do something, not to cause destabilization. The Malian government also went ahead to tell them that they are not going to release this man to them because they were demanding the release of this man and that he has to be sent to his homeland to be tried. If he's found guilty, then the laws will deal with him there. But the Malian authorities insisted that as long as he did this in Africa, the laws of Africa must deal with him. Finally, they have taken a decision about this man. And according to the new report that is coming from the Malian government, this man is sentenced to 20 years in prison. He's going to serve his prison sentence in Mali. He has been charged to pay a fine of 3.6 million CFA franc. And after his prison sentence, when he's done serving, he is not supposed to come back to Mali for the next 20 years. The Malian government said for decades, whenever an African citizen live here to any part of the world and commits a crime, the laws of these countries deal with the African. They don't say that this person needs to be sent back to Africa to be tried. But our laws do not work there. The narrative is because you are in their jurisdiction and you committed a crime, their laws must deal with you. But whenever their own people enter into Africa and do something that our law needs to deal with them, we will hear them writing back to Africa, asking them for such people to be sent to their places for justice. And this is what Mali decided to say no. And I remember one time the president of Niger said, as long as we are not in their jurisdiction, anything of theirs doesn't apply to us. So the person came into Mali, and then the Malian military or the Malian government found this man doing one or two things that they think is against their nation. And we'll hear them say, bring this person, release this person to us to be tried in our homeland. Africans don't get that privilege. So why is it that whenever an African commits a crime there, we are tried over there? The laws deal with us. But when their people come here, it is a different narrative.
So French citizen has been sentenced to 20 years in Mali, and prosecutors in Bamako argue for the fact that France want to take this man so that they can lock him up in jail in France. And the government of Mali under Assimi Goïta says, no, we are not going to do that. This is a new government and we are going to treat your citizens the way you treat our citizens. What does that mean? African citizens who committed crimes in France, they don't send them back to Africa, but they lock them up in France till their times are finished. Then they could either deport them back or they could release them back to the society, depending on what their crimes are. Now, according to the prosecutors in Bamako, for the fact that now there is a new government in Bamako, which always put the interests of the African people first and the government of Bamako or Mali as a whole, which means that this French citizen, they are going to lock him up for the next 20 years in prison for trying to destabilize the country. Besides that also, he has to pay 3,600,000 CFA as a fine for trying to destabilize the country. And also after his prison sentence, which means he will spend next 20 years in prison, after his prison sentence, the prosecutors also said that he cannot go back to Mali for the next 20 years, which means that 20 years in prison, then they will deport him back to France. From there on, he cannot come back to Mali for the next 20 years because of the crimes he committed. This man was arrested together with other soldiers that were trying to destabilize the country, and that is why yesterday his verdict came out. They say that they are going to lock him up in Bamako in Mali for the next 20 years. After his 20 years, they will deport him back. Just like the way France also locked up the Africans that committed crimes in France. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of what the prosecutors in Bamako just said? Do you think that they should just take this man back to France just like the way many of the African countries did when a white man committed crimes on the continent, or mostly foreigners in general who are not from other African countries. They will probably only pay some money to our prosecutors or the government, then they will release them. But African citizens, when they committed crimes in Europe and America or other parts of the world, they will have to serve their prison sentence. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of what the government of Mali just did? Comment below, please.
France sees Mali as a place where you get your uranium, your nuclear power, and they get it almost for a song, for so little. So this resentment is what then precipitates the crisis that we see now. And when Assimi Goïta gets into power in the year 2020, we see a wave of other coups we see a wave of a coup in Niger, a coup in Burkina Faso, which is reminiscent of the 1983 coup of Thomas Sankara. And what they do is to say, we want to cut the umbilical cord with France. When they cut the ties with France, you can see the emergence of the Wagner Group, now the African Corps, coming into the fore. And you can see that what happened in the month of April, the year 2026, when there was this coordinated attack on Bamako and different towns in Mali, leading to the death of the defense minister. It is very targeted. It must also be understood in the context of what is a contestation for power, because they see the emergence of the African Corps and they see the presence of Russia there. And in the context of a country that is losing traction with her former colonies, Mali is a choice property. It is choice because it has strategic minerals. And you've lost Mali, you've lost Niger, you've lost Burkina Faso, and they are saying that we have even moved out of ECOWAS. We are forming the Organization of Sahelian States. They have formed their own military pact. They are moving out of the CFA franc. They are saying we want to have our own banks which are local. We want to have, if it is the Russians, come to Mali and purify whatever it is that we have as minerals in situ. So that combination of factors is what, in my submission, has led to the situation that we see now. In the eyes of France, which is a power losing its foothold, an unstable Mali is useful.
So the Malian government has taken a bold stand. As long as the person has done this on the shores of Africa, he must be tried here. Our laws are not the junior version of independence, whereby when their people come into the continent and do something, we need to send them back home to be tried. That if they want this kind of treatment, then they have to start treating the African the same way, where when we go there and we do something that goes against their laws, we must be sent back to Africa to be tried, and not their laws dealing with us. But until then, whenever any of these people enter into our continent, in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and they are found guilty, the laws in Africa will deal with them. France is not happy about the whole thing. They were pushing for the man to be released back to them so that their laws will deal with the person if he's found guilty. People are saying that this is going to bring the relationship between Mali and France to another, because we already know that the relationship between them isn't good in the first place. But Mali is saying that Mali first, they will respect their laws, they will respect their constitution, they will respect everything that has to do with Mali. So if you are coming into Mali with the notion that you can come here like any other African country and do whatever you want, go scot-free, this is not going to happen. And history has taught us that these people always do these things in Africa. And then at the end of the day, they go back home. But the Malian authorities are saying that because this has been the trend in Africa, they are going to put an end to it. And they are calling on all African countries to follow suit. I think the time has come whereby people will also come here, and then when they go wrong, our laws should be allowed to deal with them. Because people cannot come into Africa and do something, and we will expect such people to be taken back to their home countries to be tried when they didn't commit the crimes over there. Why? Because the person is from here. The person is not from Africa. If the case is this, then why is it that Africans are allowed to be facing trial over there? This has been the narrative or the pain the African has been going through for all these years until we had the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso changing the narrative, because their narrative is simple. Africans must be protected. We must be treated equally. Just as they want us to treat them, they must do same to us. And the narrative that we are pushing for is that equal treatment. The continent should not be a free range where anybody at all can just come into the continent and do everything that they want and go scot-free. That change must be broken. That chain must be broken, whereby that narrative must stop, whereby Africans can be tried anywhere, yet their people cannot be tried anywhere. They must be sent home. But when they go to other countries and do that, the laws deal with them. It's only in Africa that when something of that sort should happen, we hear that and release my citizens for me. So our leaders must be firm and bold so that this thing will come to an end. Enough. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.